Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special Bitcoin stream. We're going to cover some altcoins, some Bitcoin charts, and of course talk about the Tether FUD that is all over the place right now in the markets. Everybody seems to be freaking out about USDT or Tether getting delisted by European exchanges. So we'll talk about that, hopefully bring a bit of calm to the markets. And yeah, we'll go through some market analysis and see where we are with the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. For anyone that's not in CC Pro, there's a link in the chat to sign up, and we'll talk about a few things that we've posted in Pro over the last few days as well. Let's focus on Bitcoin for right now. This time of year is such a low volume time of year. So by volume, there's a lot of movement in the markets because it doesn't take a lot of buys and sells to move the price. And this is the time of year when smart money typically moves the price to manipulate the price as much as possible. That's why we see so much volatility at weekends as well, because there's less big volume in the markets. The more volume and more liquidity in the markets, the more money you need to actually move price. So at times of the year, like right now, when price is moving about all over the place, smart money can just play games and liquidate longs and shorts on both sides and ultimately frustrate and lose people as much money as possible. So Bitcoin right now on the daily, we covered this on a stream a few weeks ago. I think it was a members or maybe an alpha only stream, and we said this was kind of our downside first target, with this kind of 89 to 90k range being our second downside target, and we might even get as low as 88k if things get really bad over the next couple of weeks. And we were kind of looking at the Christmas market as a time when we could see those flushes start to come in. So as you can see, Bitcoin's kind of hovering around our first target. We have bounced off it once and been rejected at this previous support, which is now resistance level. We've came back down. So in an ideal world, what we'd see here is a bit of a reaction off this level, a bit of a bounce similar to here, put in a double bottom, and up we go for the markets. But like I said, smart money's not trading right now. Wall Street are away home for the holidays, so I don't expect us to see significant volume in the market until the first week in January. So I think that's around the 6th of January. So for me right now, I'd be just taking some time off in terms of leverage trading. If you're a leverage trader, I wouldn't trade this time of year, because the main people manipulating the markets are just going to crush you either way. If you're short or long, they're going to be trying to crush price. But right now is a good time to make a profitability plan, how you're going to get out of the markets with as much profit as you can, have take profit levels lined up, and set some goals for your portfolio. Because in my opinion, Q1 is going to be explosive. It's going to be fiery. We're going to see a lot of volatile moves. We're going to have big run-ups, and we're going to have just as big crashes back down. And if you're not prepared mentally, and if you're not prepared with a portfolio plan, you'll get caught out and you'll end up leaving this market with very little profit. So important time of the year, important to get set and ready for Q1 2025. So Bitcoin right now around here looking fine, nothing cause for concern. This wick here still needs to be filled. Now, will that be filled in this move? Potentially not. There's a lot of people that are now on the sidelines holding out for 88k, 90k Bitcoin. Normally when people hold out for those levels, it doesn't happen, and price moves up and frustrates them, and then they have to buy it in higher. And we saw that back during the bear market. So let me roll back. So during this period here, we'll go to the 3-day chart, it's a bit more accurate. During this period here, we saw similar moves. So Bitcoin crashed down. Obviously, anyone that's been following us for a while knows dropped to $15,500, and we then what music? There we go. That should be fine. So yeah, during the bear market, we crashed as low as $15,500, and at this point, everybody was saying that Bitcoin was going sub 10k. And these wicks here, while they don't look like massive wicks on the chart because of the amount of price movement since, but you can see that this wick here was actually an 8% move on top of a big candle. So this whole entire move here was actually a 15% drop just in this one candle here. So while they don't look that big, these moves, when you zoom out and you've actually got a full chart in front of you, during this time, these were very scary times. FTX had just crashed. This wick here was the start of the FTX disaster. And people were calling for 6k, 5k, 10k, 12k Bitcoin. And many people got left humbled by the markets. And eventually the markets moved back up. And as you can see, these wicks never ever got filled. So we could see something similar this time around. We have had a bit of a boring couple of weeks, and people are kind of saying not really had much of a Santa rally. But if you look at the run up in price over the last quarter, if we take it back to September, even September, October, November, we ran up 63%. So for Bitcoin in December to only be down less than 2% on the candle, that is absolutely nothing. People need to chill out. Bitcoin will crash 30-35% in the next 6 months. I guarantee, I could almost 100% guarantee that will happen, because there's too much leverage, there's too much speculation in the markets, and ultimately exchanges, smart money, the ETFs, they want to buy Bitcoin as cheap as possible. Once they see loads of speculators, loads of retail investors pile in, they just crash the price. People sell their Bitcoin, they buy it up cheap, and it's so easy to do if you're a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. All you do is sell loads of Bitcoin. That liquidates leverage longs, but also people that are scared, people that aren't experienced, people that aren't in CC Pro, they sell their Bitcoin because they think, oh my god, that's it, over. I've bought the top and it's over. And people like BlackRock, people like Michael Saylor, these firms just scoop up Bitcoin. And you've also got the problem right now of exchanges needing to scoop up Bitcoin, but we'll cover that in a bit. Have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum obviously selling off similar to the market. What's very bullish for me on Ethereum is this is the March 2024 high for Ethereum. We've now tested it 3 times and not broke through. This last time was about a double top and we've rejected down. Actually see target. If that was a true double top, then Ethereum could go as low as $3,000, which for some reason that indicator's working tonight. Worry about that in a minute. But yeah, for Ethereum, if we do come down to the $3,000 level, I do think that would be the target, the double top, and we then would likely get some scary wicks below $3,000, which would convince people we're going lower, and that's when the price typically reverses. But for me, I'm really bullish on Ethereum because the next time we tap this green level, we should break through. And when we break through, we will go much higher and we'll go to all-time high, which is at $4,850. And probably up there we'll get rejected. So we'll probably do something like this. So say we go, this could be a possibility. So we go down as low as $3,000 and then we finally go up, but we break through. And this isn't all going to be in one move, obviously. Rejected at all-time high, maybe even consolidate at all-time high, maybe come down back to the March high, and then go much higher. And that's pretty likely, in my opinion, the path Ethereum takes. Could we see Ethereum bounce from here? Of course, and we could go up, crash through the March 2024 high, and then tackle the all-time high. The good thing about Ethereum, or one of the bullish things for Ethereum, is right now there is the most short positions against Ethereum that there's ever been in history. So once Ethereum finally catches that price movement, we liquidate or close loads of, I think it's like $300 billion worth of shorts or something mad like that. It's some crazy number. But basically what it's going to mean is when you close a short, you buy into the market. So that's going to cause a massive liquidity squeeze, and Ethereum will go to all-time high. Pretty convinced of it. I've said before, $10,000 Ethereum this cycle, easily realistic. And given that we've not broken all-time high yet, that's even more bullish for what's to come. Now, if you're in CC Pro, you'll have seen this already, but this is really bullish for me. When you look back at the charts, and we've been talking about Ethereum lagging the market for months, really. But if we actually look back at the last cycle, Ethereum peaked in 2018, slightly higher than that price. Yeah, it's just there, $1,440. But if we go to December, January period of 2020 into 2021, which we're in right now, you can see that Ethereum was just consolidating around here and it hadn't broke the all-time high. It was just shy of the all-time high. I think December's actually, so this would be where we are today. But you can see that Ethereum was still miles off breaking the all-time high. So that gives us confidence that Ethereum might be lagging behind the market. But that's just normal. That's exactly what happened the last time. The problem is people forget these pain periods for price. And when they look at a chart, they just want this up only period. And they just remember Ethereum running from November 2020 to April 2021 up over 1,000%. They just remember this period. But when you go dive deep into the daily chart, you see that actually Ethereum didn't break all-time high until February. So for me, that gives me a lot of confidence. That does kind of align with what we've been saying. Q1 next year is going to be when Ethereum and altcoins start going ballistic in the market, and we'll see crazy rallies every single day, which will be exciting. And this is why it's so important to have your profit taking targets nailed already. Have a look at XRP. Hopefully some XRP holders left. But XRP, this is perfectly healthy in my opinion. If anything, this is so bullish. Every time I look at this chart. Now obviously this isn't the most accurate, but we are kind of forming a bit of a downward wedge. Maybe even a triangle, but more like something like that. Now when this breaks, the target of the breakout will be the length of the, it's like a flagpole, so this pole moving into it. The target of this breakout once this wedge breaks, and I do think it'll beat the upside. I think it's like an 80% chance it'll beat the upside. The target of this breakout is 468 if it broke out there. So for me, mega bullish on XRP. You see these patterns appearing all the time. If we look at just over the last few weeks, we've had a couple of wedges or triangles, whatever you want to call them, on the way up. So we obviously pumped in November from 50 cents. We then had a little bull flag middle of November, pumped again, end of November, another bullish pattern on the chart, and now we're in a third one. And this one's going to take us beyond the all-time high and up over that $3.30 level that everybody's watching for. Wouldn't be surprised to see XRP back down around that 194.95 level one more time. Maybe just a wick, maybe a candle close, but that would be really bullish. It would just close up all this liquidity. We might not get it. There's so much bullishness in the market right now, so I wouldn't hold out for it. But yeah, if we do get a breakout, we'll update the target. But right now, it's going to be over $4, in my opinion. Let's have a look at the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Deck Q1 equals generational wealth. 100%. 100%. And it's going to be unreal for everyone that's been following us for a while. But only if you have your plan in place. So many people will miss profits and get wrecked by following stupid calls on Twitter, stupid influencers that are just out to wreck people. So, yeah. Stay tuned to CC Pro. We'll tell you when we're selling. We'll also tell you what we think of the narratives that are going about, because there will be a lot of them, especially when Bitcoin cracks that 100k level and then starts going beyond 110, 120 level. Liam Borg, $1 before March. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty confident we'll see some significant price movement for Borg. So the title of this stream's about Tether. So for anyone that doesn't know, apparently USDT Tether is getting delisted by European exchanges. It doesn't comply with the latest regulation, which just sums up the EU trying to control investors, trying to protect them from gains. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how this affects the markets. Now, a lot of people on Twitter are saying Tether getting delisted is going to crash crypto. But think about it logically, and this is what we try to do in CC Pro. If Tether gets banned and no one can hold Tether, then they have two options. They either cash their Tether out and put it back in their bank account, or they convert it into another stable coin or crypto. It's, in my opinion, going to have very little impact on the market. But for me, the reason this is tied to Borg is Swissborg is one of the most compliant EU exchanges. And they have USDC, they have a stable Euro coin, they have a stable Swiss franc coin. I think they're working on a stable pound. So I don't really understand the fear mongering. I think if I was an exchange that isn't compliant with the EU, I might be slightly concerned about the next implications of it. But right now, to be honest, whether I buy Tether, whether I buy USDC, it makes very little difference to me, because it sits in stable coins not very long before I normally deploy it into the market anyway. And the beauty of Swissborg is you can change your crypto from Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP into British pounds on the app, and they do it all for you, and that won't change. So you don't even have to touch Tether. You can go through Circle or whatever else. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fear mongering. But for me, what it's going to do is, because Swissborg is such a compliant exchange, it's going to drive people to Swissborg, and they're going to capture a big part in market share over the next 6 months, and that's going to be bullish for the Borg token. But just to put everybody at ease with Swissborg, especially because everybody that's in CC Pro probably uses Swissborg a lot, I reached out to Swissborg and asked them what they think about the Tether stories and FUD. So I'll just I'm just going to load up what they said. Basically, they said at the moment they have no firm plans for delisting Tether. If they end up having to delist, then they'll communicate. But there's going to be a grace period for everyone to exchange into either crypto or other stablecoins. So, given that the deadline's 3 days away, and Swissborg, one of the most compliant exchanges in the EU, has no plans to deal with it, it tells me it's a load of nonsense. Or everyone thinks that Tether's going to do a deal with the EU and be compliant by the 30th, and it'll be this last minute dramatic save the day type event like always happens when it comes to regulators and crypto. So for now, Swissborg have no plans to delist Tether, which for me just proves that probably not as big a deal as people on Twitter are making it. Just seems to be the hot topic right now. We have BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF outflow chart shows a recent sell-off, 188 million. Yeah. So I guess you'll probably try to ask, should we be worried that BlackRock are selling Bitcoin? I think BlackRock hold, I can't remember the numbers. Backclick. It's just up. They have 1 million Bitcoin. So them selling what, $188 million worth. I assume it's $188 million worth. Is such a tiny percentage of what they hold. I wouldn't be worried about it. The thing is, as well, is they're probably rebalancing because BlackRock will become huge holders of MicroStrategy now that it's listed on the NASDAQ, I would imagine. So because of that, they're probably just rebalancing so that they're not hugely overexposed to Bitcoin and Bitcoin companies. That would be my guess. Also, you've got this time of year. If you think about it, a lot of investors would have invested in Bitcoin through an ETF when it was first approved, which was January around here. So if you bought the Bitcoin ETF when it first launched, you bought it at 42,000. You're up 2.5x to Christmas week. So you probably took some profit off the table. Why wouldn't you? You're a traditional investor. You normally make 8 to 10% per year if you're lucky. And this year, in one of your investments, you made 2.5x. You probably cashed in, went and bought some Christmas presents, had a nice holiday period. Probably like a lottery win for some people that bought the ETF. So take some profit. There is nothing. I'm not one of these daft people that say buy Bitcoin, never ever sell Bitcoin. No, take profit, live life, enjoy life. You buy an investment that goes up a significant amount of money in a short period of time, which for a traditional investor the ETF has, then I don't grudge anyone taking profits and enjoying those profits. So that's probably all that's happened there. And it's probably not actually a surprise that people take out some profits so that they can go and chill for a couple of weeks over Christmas and not have to worry about the price of such a volatile asset. We speak about it a lot on the channel and in CC Pro. Like, crypto is hectic every single day. Prices move. Like, even today, like what's the price done today? Down over 1% today. Like, when the NASDAQ moves 1%, it's a headline news story on CNBC. When Bitcoin does it, it's like a slow day. You know, Bitcoin dropped from its recent all-time high 15%. If a stock did that, there would be alarm bells going off. The president would be on TV. Congress would be recalled. The Fed would be talking about strategies to deal with it. That's what happens in the traditional markets when a big asset moves 15% in a day. You imagine the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 dropped 15% in a couple of days. World War III would have had to break out. You'd have chaos in the US. Bitcoin doesn't. It's just like, nah, expected. People don't even flinch. So, yeah, these investors are new. ETF investors are new to Bitcoin, new to crypto as an asset. They're probably just taking some skin out of the game, going and chilling and enjoying family time. Can you have a look at AMP, please? Very undervalued. I mean, I suppose undervalued is quite subjective. Me and Deck were talking about this and how crypto, everything's overvalued, but I mean, it is up 450% from 14 months ago. And 133% in a month. So I don't know if it's undervalued. I don't know much about the fundamentals. Not necessarily that it matters, but it is still down 90% from its launch. The only thing is, can it ever get back to that launch price? I would need to know more about the project, but yeah, just be careful buying things that you think are down a lot from their launch price, but more look at where it bottomed, how much is already up. Because this is kind of our common issue or chat with Caspa people who can't see the wood for the trees. But like, regardless of what you think about a project, you have to factor in the fact that a project's up 7,000%, regardless of the fundamentals, regardless of what you think it can do. Look at what it's up from its bottom, rather than what it's down from its top. Because if it's down from its top, then obviously it's going to look undervalued. But if it's already rallied 300-400%, that to me would be something I would consider when buying a token. Yeah, and right on cue, yeah, check out the Certified Crypto Twitter page. Exactly what we're saying. Ignore the Tether FUD. Tether and its market cap just is up and to the right, and it's only going to continue, in my opinion. The other thing is, we live in a echo chamber, crypto investors, because we think the whole world is talking about crypto. Certainly not the case in the EU. EU blocks Tether. Will Tether even notice? Like, it's such a small part of their actual overall business. This is why, like, when Bybit pulled out the UK, everybody was going crazy. Like, oh my god, Bybit's pulling out the UK. Bybit probably never even noticed. They probably dropped like 0.01% of their volume by pulling out of the UK, because the rest of their volume's not in the UK. It doesn't impact them. And I wouldn't imagine Tether's losing too much sleep over the EU. What will be interesting is if the EU suggests an alternative, and if the alternative's the Ripple stablecoin. So that would be something I'd be interested in. Jeff, is Bitcoin following the M2 global chart by a 10-week lag? So let me try and get that chart up, because I've seen this everywhere. So actually, I can probably do it on here. So this is, let's go to the monthly. This is the global M2 money supply, or as close to it as possible. So the problem with that chart. I've saw that chart being shared around, Shiv. So Bitcoin's lagging it by 10 weeks, 70 days. So an M2 is basically down in a straight line from this period. So that would suggest Bitcoin continues down for 70 days based on that chart. That's the premise. Kind of. But basically, the problem with that chart is it doesn't actually go back long enough. So when you look at that chart, I think it goes back as long as September 2023, which, cool. That isn't enough data when you're comparing global money supply. You should be able to see it just now. It goes back as far as September 2023, and it shows Bitcoin in the orange following the M2 money supply in the white. And if we keep following this, then Bitcoin should fall for the next 10 weeks. Sorry to jump about a bit, but I just wanted to look at the money supply as well. The problem with this is if you actually go back in time, the global money supply changes dramatically. Where the liquidity is coming from matters more than who's providing it in terms of how much there is. So if China's pumping the markets full of stimulus and the US is tightening, that's probably going to have a more negative impact on the crypto markets than, for example, if Japan starts flooding the market with cheap capital or someone else. So where the liquidity comes from matters a lot, but also global money in M2 bottomed around October 2018 and then pumped into July 2019 and then dropped, and then it was just straight up from there. But if we look at Bitcoin from August 2019 to March 2022, let's look at the exact same period. Yeah, October 2019 was here to March 2022. March 2022 was here. So we had down, we had up, we had down, we had up, we had down. It didn't follow it in a straight line, but when we go to M2, it was just a straight line. And nobody seems to mention this, that if that was the case and Bitcoin followed money supply completely 100% accurately, then it would have just been a straight line up, but it wasn't. So yeah, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on it, to be honest. What I find interesting about these charts is no one mentioned this 6 weeks ago when Bitcoin was pumping. No one was mentioning it 6 months ago, because the correlation is strong right now, but on a zoomed out perspective, if you look at it over 3-4 years, it's not that strong. I think I commented on one of the posts as well, saying that actually if you go back long enough, Bitcoin actually led M2 money supply back in 2021, and then it flipped, but no one's talking about that. Bitcoin during the COVID stimulus period actually led the liquidity because it knew it was coming, so people started going into hard assets before the liquidity flowed, and then M2 caught up with it, and then that flipped in the last year and a half. But again, no one's talking about it. It's just a snapshot in time. So yeah, I'm not buying into it. I don't think in 70 days we will be still on a downtrend. Thoughts on Borgie? While I'm doing this, if you aren't a member of CC Pro, so we have daily updates, we have live streams, we have tutorials, beginner guides. We also have a chat room that you can talk to fellow crypto investors and ourselves who pop in there from time to time as well. The link is in the chat at the start of today's stream. Sign up now. There's also a Boxing Day sale, which is still live, and you get 20% off yearly subscriptions. So even if you are a CC Pro member, 20% discount might make it worthwhile renewing for 12 months and getting that 20% discount. And the link is in today's chat for signing up. It's pinned in the chat as well. And I'll drop it here. There you go. So yeah, if you are a member, good chance to get a bit of a discount on your yearly. If you're not a member, we're coming into generational wealth season. Time to get the knowledge to make as much profit as possible. So let's chat about Borgie. If you've not been in CC Pro, you missed out on Borgie, which I think our members got it between 1 and probably 5 million max market cap, and it ran up to over 60 million. So minimum 12x, but some people were getting 50, 60x's. I know there's a lot of people that already taken massive amounts of profit out, but are still holding a bit of moon bag to see if we can get to that 100 million mark. So honest opinion on Borgie is I think it could get to 100 million. I think it launched at quite a bad time, because that's when the market kind of decided to start going into a bit of sell-off. We're coming up to Christmas, and we're just seeing a lot of excitement and hype in the market. Even if we look at the 11th of December, and then we look at the Bitcoin chart, we were just around here. Bitcoin had like 2 days left before it started dropping. And obviously meme coins always get crushed when that happens. Honest opinion, I think it'll do well. It could do 100 million, but I'd like to see a bit more actual like narrative, or like just more noise from the Borgie team, more explanations to why it should be 100 million. Try and capture that meme coin like never say die mentality, because for me right now it's kind of gone a bit quiet, and they're just kind of reposting the Swissborg things. And for me, the biggest problem with Borgie is they've not managed to capture outside of Swissborg people. So I would put a guess on the investor percentage. So the number of people that hold Borgie that are also Swissborg users will be 99.9%. And there's nothing wrong with that. But once you've exhausted that community, you need to go and find new buyers. And I think they're too insular. They're too sharing tweets from Swissborg and BorgPad and projects that are on Swissborg. Like, if people are interested in that, they just follow the Swissborg Twitter or the BorgPad Twitter. Borgie needs to establish itself as a meme coin and a project in its own right to capture new audiences and new buyers. So that's what I'd like to see. Still hold on it. I've actually got loads still, and I've also got a monthly vested tokens through the LP. So yeah, I'm bullish on it. To be honest, down at 20 million market cap and finding a floor in these market conditions over Christmas, I'd say that's very bullish. We'll see what the next few weeks has to offer, and then we'll have another meme coin season soon. Somebody asked about Casta. Owen. So Casta is one of our tokens we picked in the basket. So it's nice to see it finally moving. In my opinion, Casta's looking pretty healthy, to be fair. It's had this big run up, it's came back, corrected back back to the 3 cent level, and it will probably be one of those coins that moves quite big when it does move. I still think Casta will go on and do probably a 10x from here. I don't know if it will come back down as low as these bottoms, so hopefully if you've been buying it and you're holding it, you're scooping up as much as you can in around that 1 cent level, because I don't think it will come back down as low as that. And then I think, yeah, I think once retail piles in, we'll see it going crazy. I've seen quite a few posts about it, about being able to deposit an on and off ramp crypto using Casta. Don't know if that's for UK users, but it does seem like they're actually finally doing some marketing and promo. But yeah, nice to see it do maybe a 10x from here. I do think it can do a lot more than that, but as we've said on previous streams, topside potential isn't what we're holding out for. It's just what we think a project could do. Syscoin, covered Sys a while ago, and actually never talks about Syscoin. Strange one. Obviously, I had a massive run up in the last, well, in 2017, and then pretty much still in this range. Not really broken out. This in March. Yeah, this was its March 24 high. So some altcoins have actually broke that. This coin still down quite significantly even from that level. So yeah, it looks like not a terrible 70% just from March, and then still down 91% from its all-time high. So yeah, I think this coin still looks quite healthy. I think on a zoomed out perspective, it just looks like it's dropping sideways, and then eventually it'll just absolutely rip higher like it has in the past. Stu, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, USDT seems fine for now. And even if they delist it, it literally makes zero difference, because I'll just go to USDC circle. So yeah, I wouldn't get too stressed about it. VET or VeChain. Again, I think VeChain is similar. It's still quite slow in the market. It finally broke its March, or yeah, its March high, came back down to test that kind of area. So yeah, we'll see what happens with these OG coins in the bull run. They had a bit of a run around November time. So yeah, I think VeChain will do quite well this bull run. But I'll be interested to see how the OGs do. If like Cardano, stuff like that, manage to go on and break new all-time highs. Litecoin, I don't know how it's still doing so well. But yeah, these projects seem to hang in there. And maybe it's just people look at the chart and they look at history and think that gives them a bit more confidence. Polkadot, Algorand, projects like that will be quite an interesting watch to see if they can all make new all-time highs. Wouldn't surprise me if some of them did anyway. Filecoin, another one, got absolutely crushed in this last move. This, yeah, 5th of December, it was at 843, and it's currently down 40%. Brutal. UTK, yeah, pretty bullish on it. I think I said in CC Pro I was buying some a while back. I'm just checking. Yeah, I bought some after a stream, and the reason being people just kept asking me about it, so I figured it was worth a buy, and I'm currently up 146% on it, up at 9 cents. Again, it's a project I really like, or I liked when I bought it a couple of years ago, or a few years ago now, but they've not really done much, not really seen a lot of hype or marketing. So but it's one of those projects in crypto that actually is why we're all, one of the reasons we all like crypto as an actual use case. Seems like it could solve some problems but yeah, it just doesn't seem to get the adoption or the attraction that I expected. Sui a top 5? Nah, not for me. Unless something dramatic happens to the world. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, and Solana for me are pretty much going to be the top 5. Maybe Solana could be tackled, but yeah, I think they'll establish themselves as the above the rest long term, and I think we might actually see a gap form. But nah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see why it will become a top 5 coin. I could be missing something, but crazier things have happened. But yeah. Yeah, Moonbeam, to be fair, it had quite a nice run up. Obviously got absolutely clobbered in the recent pullback. Currently down 42% after this monster move. Which was, to be fair, pretty obvious now that you look at it in hindsight. Came down, put in a low, didn't break that low, tested it twice, and then sprung out there. Move 188% in 27 days, 188% move. I hold Moonbeam on Swissborg. Take it as well. Not sure how long that'll last. FCA in the UK is cracking down on investors actually earning money. Game. That's why if you follow Swissborg and Borgie, they were doing you could stake your Borgie and earn Borg tokens, I think, or maybe the other way about. But it wasn't open to UK users. The same as the Xborg. Buy Xborg and get a 10% bonus. Not available to UK users. Free crypto is bad according to the SEC and the FCA and everyone that is in cahoots to keep this market down. Let's look at Xborg. It's easier to look on that. And we'll have a proper chart. So yeah, just trading kind of sideways since October. Had some pumps, had dumps. Still sitting at 353 million FDV. They seem to be talking a lot on Twitter about Q1. A lot of hype around what they've got coming in January, February time. So yeah, hopefully we can break that 40 cent level, start climbing, get above 50, 60, tackle the $1 level. Nice to see $1 Xborg in Q1. And that'll just have positive knock-on effects for the Borg token. See the Borg token here, doing about a third of the Solana token pair volume. It's nice, very nice to see, and that was the whole point in the Borg pad and the Borg token pairs being created for this volume. Yeah, $750,000 Solana volume and $255,000 in Borg volume. That is very healthy indeed. More than the Uniswap pair. Interesting. Wally is sticking to XRP, HBAR, or Hedera, Cardano, Ethereum, Doge, and hold some CRO, Pepe, and Ape. Not convinced by Ape anymore. Nice. That's a nice portfolio, to be fair. Hedera. So I mentioned this on a member stream last week. Hedera. This is the fibs because I was looking at it on stream. So Hedera from this kind of high here Obviously chopped around at the bottom during the bear market. It's came up, it's been rejected off the 786, and it's came back to the 50% retracement level. It does look like it's trying to break out of this downtrend and break the 618 level. I do think once this moves, we could see it go back this 47 cent level. There's a lot of rumors about Hedera, and there's a lot of, to be fair, there's a lot of rumors about Trump creating not just your Bitcoin strategic reserve, but also a crypto reserve, digital assets reserve. And they're talking about Hedera being involved in it because it's US based or something like that's created in US. So I think that's why we've seen some moves. But yeah, it does look pretty ripe for a big pump very soon. CRO's a really weird one. So for those that don't know, yeah. Better chart. But basically, for me, CRO looks so undervalued because if Trump does come in and does what he says, then Coinbase and Crypto.com are basically going to have free reign in the States. And yeah, I would expect it to do pretty well. And it's done absolutely nothing. I mean, obviously it's up a little bit, but it's still down massively from its launch, down massively from its 2021 peak, which for an exchange coin, 85%, especially when you see BNB putting in all-time highs just for fun. So yeah, I think it's massively undervalued. And again, would Trump want to direct more volume to kind of US based projects potentially? Thoughts on Eagle AI? Good entry. So Eagle AI is definitely not a good entry. Pretty sure it's up like 1,000,000%. Yeah, it's up over 13x. And it only when did it launch? August. Nah, I wouldn't be buying it 45 cents. I think pre-sale was at 1 cent and pre-seed was at half a cent. So you bought it pre-seed, you're up 90x, and if you brought it pre-sale, you're up 45x. So nah, I definitely wouldn't be buying around here. Not something that's up 1,300% in 6 months. You can change your fibs to whatever color you want, to be honest. Double click and go to style, and you can change. Thoughts on when? I think we covered this on the last stream. Can't be this one. Is it this coin? Yeah, it must be. I wouldn't touch it. Simply because this must be wrong. But it's shown on here that it launched at $2,000 a coin, and it's now dropped to, I don't even know what that is, 0.00009. And then if we look at the last month, it's dropped. Yeah, looks like trash. It looks utterly ridiculous. If I'm brutally honest, to be honest, I don't know anything about it, so I don't know the fundamentals. What I do know is that Bybit's clearly crushing the price, because there's no way there's $1.1 million worth of trading volume on this token. So they've obviously got a market maker that's absolutely rinsing it. Yeah, 1.1 million's crazy volume. So that would tell me that the market makers are just rinsing this coin. 2.6 on Gate.io. Yeah. I wouldn't touch this. It's also got 5 million FTE at launch at. So in March, it was at a 360 million FTE. Yeah. These are crazy numbers. Does anyone actually know anyone that uses Gate.io? I've never met anyone that uses it. It's the scammiest looking exchange. I downloaded that one time, logged in, thought it was a scam, and immediately logged back out. But they're trying to say that there's $2.6 million worth of volume for this token. They've basically just got market makers absolutely killing this token, and the market makers will be earning fee. So whoever created Wencoin will be minted. They will be multi-millionaires because they'll be earning off the trading fees. Yeah. Nothing personal, obviously, about if you hold it. You just kind of need to know what. Let's check on Bitcoin dominance, because Ethereum actually seems to not be as affected. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance seems to be continuing to drop. It's put in a lower high on the daily, which is very bullish. You had a high here. Sorry, you had a high here, but a high here. And apologies about that. A lower high here. So yeah, we could see Bitcoin continue to drop, and or Bitcoin dominance, and once it gets below that 55% level, that'll be very bullish for me, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. No, Shiv, you can't use a VPN because it's to do with your KYC. So you can use a VPN to access the Swissborg website and like all their information, and they've got loads of good tutorials and useful information and stuff. But the app's linked to your KYC address, so even if you changed it, you wouldn't be able to. If you change your VPN, you wouldn't be able to use the Swissborg app. You would need to re-register with a different residency if you had that. So yeah, fortunately not. The FCA, as G. Stevens says, is very, very terrible, and they just want to get in the way of people making money. What would be nice is if the DXY had also topped. If we see a DXY drop and Bitcoin dominance drop, that could be hugely bullish for altcoins. We also kind of need like some form of catalyst for Ethereum. That's why I kind of buy into this, that Trump and his administration might announce some form of crypto altcoin type scheme, whether it be policy, whether it be a digital asset reserve, whether it be something to promote digital assets that aren't Bitcoin. I do kind of see that potentially happening, which could be the spark for an alt season, and just similar to 2021 where we we have a massive rally in Ethereum, which then leads into altcoins. But for me, right now, the chart I'm watching the most is XRP, because it just looks prime for a breakout to the upside. And when that happens, I think one thing that will happen this time is people get caught selling early. So I think when it gets to $3, we'll see quite a lot of sales. But if the price keeps going, people will buy back in. So what typically happens in crypto is you sell XRP at 3 and it goes and just runs to 350. Those same people will buy back in because they're like, oh my god, this thing's now going to 5, 6, 7. And that's where people typically get wrecked, because they buy back into a token they've already realized loads of profit in. So yeah, just be careful with that. If you've got a take profit level, stick to it, and once you're out, you're out. Don't buy back in unless it maybe retraces like 50-60% and you think that's a good buy. But even then, in a bull run, once you've hit your profit, take your profit and get out. Don't start buying back into coins. Don't start trying to short the market. Just be happy with your gains. You're going to realize more gains in a short period of time than in any other market in the world. So for me, take your profits and get out of the market. Don't get greedy. Don't take your profits and think, oh my god, I can double them or triple them if I just do X, Y, and Z. That's how you get wrecked. Yeah, let's cover Opulus. Ewan. Not actually covered many coins. Been ranting. So yeah, Opulus still in this range, in a sideways chop, but we've seen this across so many altcoins. The entire altcoin market, in my opinion, hasn't seen proper retail FOMO. So yeah, it continues to trade sideways. It depends what your average buy, but 7 cents still looks pretty cheap to me. We've been buying since around 4. So yeah, I think LimeWire. Yeah, LimeWire is the same. Kind of just chopping, flame, chopping sideways, inspect, kind of doing all right, but chopping sideways. So it's just the nature of the market right now. Everybody's just waiting on something. Liquidity to flow in, some catalyst regulation wise. There needs to be something that sparks the next leg of the bull run. Bitcoin's doing fine. 95k is strong. They've got the ETF and it's got so much buy pressure. There's going to be institutions buying Bitcoin in the next 6 months, definitely. So it's the altcoins and the broader crypto market that we need to see opening up. Shout out to Deck as well. 176 kilometers ran in what, 3 weeks in December? Across 3 weeks. That's I'm going, to be fair. Yeah, pretty impressive. Sadly's gonna have to put some music on. Make sure you like the stream. We're going to be back with loads more streams, not just over the Christmas period, but into January as well. We'll be doing it at all different times of the day, so try and tune in when you can. But for tonight, that is all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you had an amazing Christmas. We'll be back possibly tomorrow night with another stream. So make sure you're in CC Pro. Drop us some requests and we can cover them tomorrow night. And if you're not in CC Pro already, the link is in the chat. If you are in CC Pro and you want to secure a yearly membership with 20% off. Get involved right now. The link I'll drop in the chat in a second as well. But that's all for tonight. Thanks very much for tuning in. I will catch you soon.
This